My name is Ian Grosvenor. I'm a professor at the University of Birmingham, and I direct this centre, the Voices of War and Peace, who put this event on along with another centre called Hidden Histories. And if you pick up this leaflet, which is on the middle of the table, it shows you where all the centres are. And then this leaflet tells you particularly about our centre. I'm just going to say a few words about the centres, then we're going to move on to one or two comments from distinguished guests, and then our first speaker will be parking his car at the moment and will be in here by 1:45, I hope. Okay, good, thank you. So there's a funding body called the Arts Humanities Research Council, which channels government money, public money, into research activity. And the AHRC, along with the Heritage Lottery Fund, supported the idea of having some centres across the country who would basically work with communities to look at the legacy of the First World War. And people had to bid as consortia, and so we bid as a consortia, and we are, the Voices one is Birmingham, BCU, Worcester, Wolverhampton, Newman, but also it includes Glasgow, Manchester Met and Cardiff as our partners. And each of the centres had to say what they were very good at in terms of their knowledge. Well, as you know, at Birmingham there's a Centre for War Studies. They're very, very good. But we also, in particular, have lots of people who are very specialists in the areas of gender and the home front, the whole issue of why we should commemorate events, cities at war, childhood and war, and the key thing about belief and the Great War. And our role is to work with community groups on projects to look at that legacy agenda. And we are funded now to the end of 2016, and there'll probably be more funding going through to the end of 2019. And things like this website, which is very much one where lots of material gets put on, there's lots of blogs on there. In 2019, all centres which have a website, it'll all migrate to the British Library as a memorial in some ways to the legacy that was actually explored in the 2014 to 2019 period. I'm asked Mike to say a few words now about the Hidden Histories Centre.
Okay, well, thanks Ian for the introduction that sort of covered everything that the whole sort of 5 centres are doing. As you mentioned, we've got a centre in Nottingham who are working particularly closely with the Birmingham one, and our focus is on the role played by in the First World War by different people from what was then the Empire, and in some parts is now called the Commonwealth, and in other parts we're just simply caught up in events. Our centre is called the Centre for Hidden Histories, and the idea is that we don't want anybody to come through the period of the centenary and think that it didn't apply to them or their community or their family, because it certainly did. The war was colossal in scale, and there was hardly anybody on the planet who wasn't touched by it in some way. And so our mission is one to make it as an inclusive a period of reflection and investigation as it possibly can be. We work in a very similar way to the centre at Birmingham, which is that we're looking for community projects and community groups that want to do their own investigations, so that we can partner them with professional researchers to make them, to give them the advantage of working in a sort of historically rigorous manner. We've got some funding available to groups as well, which is I think unique to Nottingham, and we're issuing a call for applications in the next few weeks, and we've got grants of up to £500 available for community groups to bid for, so they can go and carry out their researches. That might pay for somebody to visit an archive, it might pay for people to have some documents printed or published, and it might set them on the way to doing some work which can then work in partnership with some of our researchers to do some really good, interesting investigations into the war. I have a handful of leaflets which I've placed over on the desk over there, so please feel free to take them if you wish. Failing that, I'm around all afternoon, so do feel free to come and speak to me if you're interested. Thank you.